Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here and welcome to Thursday's edition of the MCU Daily. Wow, what a response and a reaction to yesterday's first ever MCU Daily. Thank you very much for embracing me into your heart. So in 2006, Warner Brothers released Superman Returns. This is 2 years before Iron Man's release. So if Warner Brothers wanted, they could have had a successful franchise before Feige in the MCU. They didn't get Superman right. Superman Returns didn't work out. It made just under 400 million. Back then that was kind of okay, but of course Superman should be making $1 billion. Didn't work. Singer got it wrong. Singer was obsessed with Richard Donner's Superman. He didn't come up with his own idea. It was disappointing because I'm a Superman fan too. But in 2008, the same year that Iron Man was released, Batman Begins happened. So did Iron Man. Iron Man, I think, made more money than Batman Begins. I still think that Batman Begins is a better film than Iron Man, but I really did enjoy Iron Man, and it was a great piece of casting to get Robert Downey Jr. Very risky because of the drugs offences and all of that, but that was in the past. He did a great job as Iron Man, and he hasn't looked back since, has he? So you've got this Dark Knight trilogy. The MCU has kicked off, but it's just a trilogy. It's not turned into a DC franchise. Very short-sighted by Warner Brothers. But Kevin Feige and the newly created Marvel Studios have got big ideas. But Disney don't own Marvel Studios yet. Iron Man 2 is another box office hit, but for me, it's not a very good film. I don't like Iron Man 2. I think Iron Man, the first one, is a really good film. The only thing that Iron Man 2 has got going for it is Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow. The film isn't really... It's not a good film. It's got a bad villain. It hasn't got an interesting story. There's some great offbeat stuff, of course. The introduction of Black Widow and Nick Fury is very exciting. But apart from that, the film's premise itself and its villain and its story isn't good. But what's going on inside of Tony Stark is very good. So really it's a film that I don't really enjoy, but it's got good elements to it. I'm a big Smallville fan, and sometimes Smallville had fillers, but they still had some great elements there. Maybe a Lex and Lionel scene that I enjoyed. And it's the same with Iron Man 2. So then I think, no, I'm going to get this wrong because I don't know the order of the films exactly. There's been like 20 or over 20 now, right? So The Incredible Hulk is a Weird R, isn't it? It's a Weird R movie. They already had the Hulk movie by Ang Lee, which didn't work out for a lot of Hulk fans. I thought it was all right. I kind of enjoyed it, but it wasn't to everyone's taste. So they brought Ed Norton in as a Bruce Banner. Now, Ed Norton is a terrific actor, but really he's only really been in one film I've really enjoyed, and that's American History X. Was he a good Bruce Banner? I think he was. I think he did a good job. I love the relationship between him and Liv Tyler. I love the design of the Hulk. I still think this now, I don't understand why Lou Ferrigno can't just be kind of doused in green and be the Hulk. He was the best Hulk. It worked back then. Mixing him with CGI and real effects would be amazing now. So I still don't understand why Lou has never been used in the MCU as the Hulk. I absolutely think it would have worked. I don't know if Lou didn't want to do it, which I very much doubt, because Lou was very proud of his work as the Incredible Hulk. So the Incredible Hulk looked good, and he's part of the MCU. But they fell out with Ed Norton. Ed Norton wanted to do one thing. They wanted to do another. At the end of the day, what Kevin Feige says goes. And the only person who had to go was Ed Norton. And that was very sad, because then they had to cast another actor. Mark Ruffalo is a brilliant Hulk, a brilliant Bruce Banner. I really like him. But I wish we stuck with the person we originally started from. So I think the box office was okay. People preferred it to the Ang Lee's Hulk movie. I think we had Captain America the First Avenger next. You'll correct me in the comments down below. I really like Captain America the First Avenger. And not a lot of people like that first movie. But I thought it was really good. I thought Chris Evans was amazing. He sold me as Captain America. The struggle of being this small, skinny guy, this weakling, who really wanted to fight for his country. And he'll do anything to achieve that. And he absolutely does. And he grows into this hero, Captain America. His performance is wonderful. I really liked that film. The Thor movie too, a lot of people don't like the first Thor movie. I think it's okay. I think Hemsworth does a great job. I don't think anyone ever had a problem with Hemsworth. But the early MCU films really did struggle to wow the fans over. That always does surprise me. So something really strange happened when Avengers Assemble was released. All of a sudden, people were in love with the MCU. They loved this. That was the film that lit the blue touch paper. All of a sudden, the MCU could do no wrong. It exploded, and now it's the most successful IP in the history of film. There's no question about that. There isn't a more longer running IP in terms of how many films, in terms of box office, in terms of everything. It's so successful. But even as a fan of the property, I do concede you are looking at mostly very generic movies. I think Captain America, the second film, I bloody well forgot what the title of that film is. I was talking about it on yesterday's edition of the show, wasn't I? But Captain America, the Winter Soldier, that's right, is the best MCU movie. That really is a movie. It isn't something that's just used to sidestep onto the next film. In its own right, Captain America, the Winter Soldier has everything. Again, Chris Evans is fabulous, and you've got Bucky. This brilliant. I haven't read the comics, so I didn't know that Bucky was the Winter Soldier or any of that. So when he approaches him and it turns out to be Bucky, I'm like, oh my God, I love this film even more now. Robert Redford was a great villain. God knows how Kevin got him. So I think that was amazing. And now my phone's ringing and I'm going to ignore it because we've got to carry on. So anyway, yeah, someone else has picked it up. I hate that, right? When you're doing a video and I'm not going to start again, no way. So anyway, Captain America 2, the Winter Soldier, is my favourite MCU movie. I think the second Thor film isn't great. I think Iron Man 3 is a film that betrays the hardcore comic book fans, but it's a bloody fun, entertaining film, and that really does sum up the MCU, doesn't it? Then we get the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and I'm just really looking at the MCU all around as we're about to get Captain Marvel, and then this big event that is Avengers Endgame, and then it's a new beginning, and who knows what characters are going to come out of that in one piece and be part of the next. Because you've got X-Men, my theory with X-Men is that will be a separate universe. But it'll be a separate unit. What he'll do is, Feige, he'll start up, he'll build it up, then he'll cross them over. When they've had 5 or 6 movies, like the Avengers characters did with Avengers Assemble as well. I think that will be the best thing to do. I mean, you could mix them up from the beginning, but I doubt he will do that. He will take his time. He will build that universe up. Then you might have a couple of crossovers, but definitely the difficult job that Feige has got, and he's a genius and he can do it. If he can't do it, nobody can do it. He's got to create an awesome Professor X, an awesome Wolverine. I would guess that Professor X and Wolverine won't be introduced first. I think he'll introduce other characters, maybe lesser characters, because he knows it's going to be hard to cast them, to get people to accept them. I don't think Hugh Jackman's going to be involved anytime soon in the MCU. If he was, that would be massive. That would be exciting. But I do feel that Hugh Jackman means it when he says he doesn't want to do it anymore. The story ended. Logan was a fantastic movie. It would be a betrayal in a way, even though I love him to cross over into the MCU, and I think he'd like to do it. I think he's a very moral man, Hugh Jackman, and I think he wants to stick to what they've done. But who knows? So the X-Men movies for Kevin Feige are a big challenge, a little bit problematic, but you'd rather have that problem than not have that problem. So I'm really excited. But the thing I think Kevin will just absolutely love developing is the Fantastic Four characters, because the Fantastic Four was born to be in the MCU. They're light, they can be funny, they have an interesting kind of backstory with what happens to them in space. So you've got a bit of drama, you can add comedy, it doesn't have to be totally dark. It's everything that those characters are perfect for the MCU. I think the X-Men characters are a lot more difficult, and I think he'll keep them apart from the other MCU characters for maybe 2 to 4 years. I just think that. But I could be wrong. I'm not saying that's the way he should do it, but just seeing what he did, and because having those first 5, 6 kind of MCU films before doing Avengers Assemble kind of worked for him, I think Disney and Marvel Studios are very good at sticking to what works rather than taking risks. They don't really take risks. They take calculated risks. They've got a really successful IP, and there's no reason to ruin it now. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what they do with the X-Men. But Fantastic Four isn't as difficult of a challenge as the X-Men characters. They'll slot in there. That'll be a very exciting thing. And so we've got Captain Marvel coming very soon. And it's interesting to me, really, when I think about Captain Marvel, so many people have spoken about the film as such, as the title, but no one's really talking about the film. Everyone's just talking about what Brie Larson keeps on saying. Oh, Brie Larson's wrong for the part. Oh, she said this, she said that. How dare she say it? No one's talking about the film. Do you know what I notice these days? People don't talk about films. They talk about everything else. They talk about trailers. They talk about posters, you know. They talk about everything but what's in the actual film. So when it comes to the film, you know, this is what I want to see with this generation. More people getting excited with the movies rather than getting angry. I've seen the test screening of Captain Marvel. I mentioned this to you the other day. I like the film. I think it's a very exciting, fun, entertaining, generic MCU film, like most of them are. If you like the MCU, you're going to like Captain Marvel. It's as simple as that. It's helpful, let me put it that way, that Nick Fury and Coulson are in this. Coulson, this is the first film that Coulson's been in. Clark Gregg, who's brilliant, since Avengers Assemble when he got killed off. Of course, this film's set in the past. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's interesting because I haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and apparently for a while, and apparently he's getting, Clark Gregg's actually going to play another character in the next season. Now, that's very interesting. Will we ever see Clark Gregg's Coulson ever come back properly? Well, I don't know what's going on with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because if he's not playing Coulson in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., does that mean they've killed off Coulson? I don't get it. I don't understand. But anyway, yes, I want to see him back in the MCU properly. But while the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show is active, Clark will always be involved because he's very important. Nobody's watching that show without Clark. Clark was magical casting by Kevin Feige from the very beginning. I absolutely was gutted when they killed the character off in Avengers Assemble. But, you know, the film's loss was the TV show's gain. A lot of people don't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think it's a really good show. But I haven't watched it for years because I'm just so busy. There's so many things to watch now. I don't know what. Do you know what? Right, I'll tell you, past few years, so many TV shows to watch on streaming and broadcast. I end up watching nothing. You go onto Netflix, right, don't you? And you go, oh, all these brilliant sweets I can eat. But which one shall I pick first? And you don't end up picking any of them. Right now, all I'm doing is rewatching Smallville. That's all I'm doing. But there's a reason for that. My mum's in hospital, critical condition, so not really in the mood to start watching this stuff. But I am excited about the future of the MCU. It's going to change. I think there will be a lot more representation in it. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. If you don't like what they say about things in the build-up to films, just ignore them. The films are still going to be awesome. It's still a good franchise. I mean, I'm predominantly a DC fan. I love the DCEU, and I'm excited for the future of that. But both of these franchises can coexist. It isn't one or the other, and I'm really excited that we live in the era of these superhero movies. I'm sad that superhero movies is all that Hollywood are making, and we don't get the variety and balance in movies we did like in the 80s and the 90s when I was growing up. But that's another subject for another video. So that's it for today's MCU Daily. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow for more. That's if you tune in. Please tune in.